Hello, happy mappers. My name in OpenGeofiction is Luciano, and I am going to try to walk you through how to make JOSM, JOSM, work on OpenGeofiction instead of on OpenStreetMap. So first, welcome to my desktop. I have an Ubuntu Linux 16.04 desktop computer with a wallpaper of a photo I took a few years ago of the Korean countryside in January. And although I'm running Linux, that should not matter. If you have Windows and you've downloaded JOSM for Windows, once you are inside JOSM, it's exactly the same for Windows and for Linux. So, here's JOSM. This is a completely fresh install. I deleted the application and all the configuration files from my computer and reinstalled it. It's fresh and untouched. So I'm going to walk you through how to point JOSM at the OpenGeofiction server. Everything you need to do is going to be under the Preferences window, which is right here, second menu item, bottom, Preferences. Click. Here we are. This is the Preferences window. First thing I always do on a new install is I click Expert Mode. I like to see everything. Next, let's start looking. First tab. This is the thing with the red paint on the screen here on the upper left. It says GPS points. Guess what? We don't use that because we don't have GPS in our imaginary world. OSM data. We don't have to worry about this too much. You can change some of these display options if you want. Colors. You can change these. I always change these, but I'm not going to do it today. Look and feel. You can choose the skin. There's a few choices here. There's probably different skin choices inside Windows version. You can choose your language. I always start with English. You can also use other languages, Spanish, or, well, they don't have Korean, do they? Anyway, that's why I don't use that. Zoom steps. I like to have 2. You can have more than that. Next tab, second tab on the left, connection settings. This is the first thing you have to worry about a lot. It says here, checkbox, use the default OSM server URL. No, I don't want that. I want OpenGeofiction, which is opengeofiction.net/API. Now you can validate that. Look at that. Green check mark. It's valid. Next, authentication. You want to use OAuth? No, OGF doesn't have OAuth. You have to use basic authentication. So you put in your username. Luciano is my username. Use the same username and password that you use when looking at the world map. Here, see, Luciano and my password. Same on OGF for JOSM. I put in my password here. Note that your password is not encrypted. It's not very secure. I'm sorry about that. I didn't make the software. Next. Proxy settings. Do you use a proxy? Then you need to set that up here. I don't use a proxy. I don't think anyone in OGF uses a proxy, except maybe if you have some users in China, they might be using a proxy. Overpass server. Here's a http://osm3s.opengeofiction.net/API/. That is our overpass server. So now we have authentication, proxy, overpass server, and we have our server URL. These are the first important things. Next, map projection. I just stick with Mercator. Mercator is the same projection that we have over here. Mercator, Mercator. Happy days. Decimal degrees. Yes, that seems rational. Metric. Yes, that seems rational. Some people aren't rational. They might choose to use something called imperial. I don't know what Chinese is. I'm curious, but I'm not that curious, so I'm not going to do that. Map paint styles. You don't have to change this. I generally put in the potlatch 2 style. That's because when I first started, that's what I was using, was potlatch. So I'm used to it a little bit. Tagging presets. I never use these. I suppose some people might, but I don't, so I don't know what to do with these. File backup. I like to have a frequent file back. 120 seconds, that's every 2 minutes. That sounds useful. That's in case my computer crashes and I lose my work. Next, plugins. Guess what? There are lots and lots and lots and lots of plugins. I'm not going to worry about these too much. I use a lot of these normally. I'm going to show you only a few. Continuous download. I'm going to show you that. I highly recommend it. What else? Let's see. Fast Draw. I highly recommend that you can use your mouse and draw lines, rivers, and coastlines and things. What else? Where is it? Measurement. I use this all the time. It keeps my drawing to scale. Next, pick layer. I use this all the time. I draw things on paper and then I trace them inside JOSM. Reverter. I use this all the time. Okay, there's lots of other plugins that I also use, but I'm not going to worry about them for now. You don't need them. They're not required. I just wanted to share those. Next, this is the 5th tab. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. This is your toolbar customization. Sometimes I mess with this. We don't need to do it now. Sound. You can mess with this if you want. I never do. Keyboard customization. You can mess with this if you want. I never do. I've already memorized all these as they are. I don't need to change them. Validation. I do recommend that you change these. However, it's kind of complicated and you don't have to change them. Basically, you're going to get a lot of complaints from JOSM as you upload your data because it's validating against the real world. We are not mapping in the real world, so a lot of these aren't relevant. But you don't need to worry about them for now. Remote control. I don't think anybody in OGF is using remote control. Don't worry about it. WMSTMS imagery preferences. This is the most important thing to change if you want to use JOSM with OpenGeofiction. These imagery URLs down here, these are the tile servers that people use for mapping in OSM, OpenStreetMap, but they're useless to us for our imaginary world, so you delete them. You can't use them for mapping our imaginary world. Instead, down here, you need to put in our OpenGeofiction tile servers. First one, http tile.opengeofiction.net/OSMCarto. That's the default style. Zoom X Y.png. Look at this closely. It's right here. You need to copy that when you put it into your computer. Maximum zoom on the default tile is 19. The name for the layer, put a name that's OGF somehow. OGF default is what I generally put on it. Now, Now we have a tile URL. I generally also add the topo map. Topo is very similar. HTTP tile.opengeofiction.net/topo-map/zoom/x/y.png. I think the zoom on this is 18. OGF topo. There. Now we have 2. And finally, advanced preferences. This is just a list of XML properties. I'm not going to talk about these. I mess with these all the time, but I'm not going to do it now. There are 2, however, that I will recommend that you change. Down here near the bottom of the list, there's a setting called Socket Timeout Connect. It's set to 15 seconds. That is too short. Make it 150 seconds. That's 2.5 minutes. I think given how slow the internet can be between Korea and Germany, or anywhere else in Germany, or how slow our servers might be sometimes, it's better to have a nice long wait period. Same for the timeout on the read. I give it 300 seconds. That's 5 minutes. Then you won't have timeouts, which are very frustrating when you're trying to download or upload or connect to the server for OpenGeofiction. So those are the settings that I would initially recommend. As you learn how to use JOSM better, you can make more changes. Now, you say, okay, and it says, authenticating at the host API openstreetmap.org. You don't have to do this. This is just something that it wants to do. And you restart. So we wait for it to restart. It says update plugins. No. I just did everything correctly. Then I should be able to go download from OSM. Ah! It's Europe. I don't want Europe. I want OGF default. Do you see this right here? This little button? See, this is Europe. You have this little button here, plus sign in the upper right of the download window. Here, I'll show you again. File. Download from OSM. You get this map window. You don't want Europe. You change it from Mapnik to OGF default. Look! It's Planet OGF. Isn't that beautiful? Now, just to continue my example, as long as everything's working correctly, let's download something. Here, I happen to know this neighborhood. I'm going to download this neighborhood. Dun dun. Ta-da! Look. See, it's downloading the extra area. That's because you have this. Oh, it's very slow. Well, we don't need that. You have this continuous download setting. You don't need that. Here's a bridge that some fine user added to our planet. Obedience of the rules. I'm going to delete it. Ta-da! And then I'm going to upload the results. Upload data. I give it a tag. Where's our tag? It's somewhere in the New World. Western Hemisphere 21A. I have a little naming scheme that I use. Vandalism. Patrol. Removal. Something like that. Where's the source of this? My brain. Dreams. Dreams of Luciano. Upload. Ta-da! I just deleted that. There's our world. You can download things in lots of different ways. You can download things from other areas. If I wanted to work in my country, I could go to Tarsus and I could zoom in, oops, on Tarsus, pull something up, right? Oh, I'm going to download that. Download some area. There's other ways to download. You can download bounding boxes. You can download areas, tile numbers, bookmarks. That's how you use JOSM. Happy mapping!